Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
The alien planet of Zalthar was a kaleidoscope of colors and sensations, where the air hummed with the vibrancy of life. Towers of bioluminescent flora reached toward the sky, creating an ethereal glow that illuminated the landscape as dusk fell. It was here, in this mesmerizing realm, that human exploration had led to an unexpected encounter. James, a human scientist and ambassador, adjusted his breathing mask as he stepped out of the transport ship. His heart raced with a mix of excitement and dread. He was on a peacekeeping mission, sent to promote intergalactic understanding. But standing on the surface of Zalthar, its otherworldly beauty captivating him, he felt as though he had stumbled into the pages of a fantastical tale. As he surveyed the area, he was struck by the towering figure ahead, the alien queen Anika. She stood regally at the front of a gathering, draped in flowing garments made of luminescent threads that shimmered like starlight. Her skin was a striking blend of deep violet and silver, adorned with intricate patterns that resembled constellations. Her large, expressive eyes sparkled with intelligence and a hint of mischief, making James suddenly feel very small. As the ceremony commenced, the air buzzed with electric energy, and James found himself ushered to the forefront. Anika's gaze locked onto his, sending a shiver down his spine. There was an undeniable magnetism, a pull between them that was hard to ignore. Despite the formalities of the event, a celebration of peace, the air was thick with unspoken words. Throughout the gathering, Anika spoke elegantly of her planet's history, intertwining it with a deep-seated need for unity. James listened intently, his mind racing with thoughts about the vastness of their differences and the richness of mutual understanding. Yet, it was during a lull in the festivities that everything changed. "Earthman!" Anika's voice rang out, cutting through the crowd's chatter. She approached him, the audience parting like waves around her. "What do you know of the customs of Zalthar?" Caught off guard, James felt his throat dry as he stumbled over an answer. I've read about some, but..." Anika's expression shifted, amusement dancing in her eyes. "You have come all this way, and yet you are unsure? Let me show you." Before he could register her words, Anika leaned closer, her voice low and enticing. "Would you scrub my back?" James froze, his brain scrambling to comprehend the implication of her request. In Zalthar, the act was one of deep intimacy, a bond signifying trust and acceptance. He could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on him as the crowd held its breath, eyes watching with curiosity and anticipation. "You're back," he stammered, taken aback yet drawn to her. "Yes, it is a ritual of friendship and connection among my people," she elaborated, a playful smile breaking the tension. In that moment, all thoughts of protocol evaporated. The Queen's invitation sparked something within him, a curiosity mingled with desire. But as her gaze bore into his, he could feel the careful dance of cultures collide. Fear, excitement, and the prospect of something unfathomably deep loomed just beyond reach. "Okay," he finally agreed, his voice wavering slightly. "I'll scrub your back." As they moved away from the crowd, whispers followed, many filled with approval. Anika strode confidently, leading him to a secluded grove shaded by fluttering, delicate leaves that glowed softly in the cool twilight. The vibrant flora seemed to lean in, gathering the energy of the moment as if nature itself had become an audience. Reaching a large, smooth stone that served as an elevated platform, Anika turned, her gaze piercing yet inviting. "This is a sacred place where bonds are forged," she explained, her fingers brushing over the surface of the stone, glistening with dew. "Here, we embrace our vulnerabilities." James's heart raced. This was it. He gripped the sponge, a crafted piece infused with nourishing essences from the surrounding flora. His hands trembled slightly as he took a step toward the Queen, her back facing him. The moment felt monumental, and he reminded himself that this was not merely about the physical act of scrubbing. It was a bridge between their vastly different worlds. Slowly, he brought the sponge to her skin, and his breath hitched at the ethereal beauty emanating from her. Her skin shimmered like jewels beneath the soft touch of the sponge, and he felt a strange mix of reverence and desire. He pressed gently, following the fluid contours of her back, each movement guided by Anika's soft hum of approval. "This feels extraordinary," he murmured, almost to himself. His fingers moved with increasing confidence, tracing the intricate designs on her skin, and Anika sighed softly, encouraging him with every stroke. "It connects us," she said, her voice filled with warmth. "And through connection, we understand each other more deeply." The air thickened with a palpable tension as James lost himself in the act, his heart racing not just from the intimate proximity, but from a burgeoning understanding of what this moment meant. Here, he was not an ambassador merely seeking peace. He was a participant in something far grander, a melding of souls. Anika turned slightly to meet his gaze, her eyes capturing the ethereal glow of the evening light. "You are quite adept for a human unfamiliar with our ways," she teased lightly, the hint of a smile gracing her lips. He chuckled nervously, suddenly aware of the closeness of their bodies. "It's harder than it looks," he admitted, laughter easing some of the tension. As they shared this moment of lightness, James realized how much he yearned for this connection. The alien queen was more than a majestic figure. She was a sentient being of depth and emotion. But the laughter faded as he became aware of the shift in her demeanor. Anika leaned back slightly, tilting her head in a manner that accentuated the graceful lines of her neck. "I sense your hesitation, Earthman," she remarked, her tone shifting to something softer, more intimate. "What do you mean?" "Your heart races, yet your mind wanders, caught between desire and restraint. It is confusing, is it not?" James couldn't deny the truth in her words. He felt deeply attracted to her. The connection thrumming between them was thrilling yet terrifying. I didn't expect to be here," he admitted, the honest confession slipping from his lips. Anika smiled, a mixture of understanding and mischief dancing in her eyes. "Shall I assure you that it is perfectly acceptable to embrace your desires?" She leaned back slightly more, offering him a glimpse of her trust. As he gazed into her eyes, James felt the weight of his choices. This was not just an act of friendship. It teetered on the precipice of something profound and transformative. He swallowed hard, realizing that this might be the moment he could not look back from, a moment where the worlds of man and alien intertwined in ways he never thought possible. The air felt charged, crackling with an energy that left James both exhilarated and petrified. Time seemed to stretch as he processed Anika's unexpected request. The crowd around them buzzed with anticipation, their eyes glittering with interest, some whispering in their native tongue, clearly not expecting such an interaction between the queen and a mere human. Are you serious?" James managed to ask, though his heart raced at the prospect. The act of scrubbing her back was not just a chore. It carried the weight of intimacy, a bond signifying trust and acceptance. He could feel the electrifying pressure of the moment as the crowd held its collective breath, their gazes fixed upon him. Anika smiled, her expression softening as a hint of vulnerability peeked through her confident demeanor. "You humans are often fearful of our customs, but I see in you a spirit of adventure, a willingness to explore beyond the surface." She tilted her head, ensuring he understood the depth of her invitation. "Do you wish to learn?" James hesitated, his instincts battling with the exhilarating opportunity laid before him. He stepped closer, emboldened by her warmth and intrigue. "Very well," he finally agreed, his voice tinged with nervousness. "I'll scrub your back." With a summoning gesture, Anika led him away from the gathering, her presence commanding attention. As they made their way towards a secluded grove, the gentle hum of the crowd faded, replaced by the soft rustling of luminescent leaves in the warm breeze. The vibrant flora seemed to lean in, gathering the energy of the moment, nature itself bearing witness to this significant interaction. They arrived at a large, smooth stone that served as an elevated platform. Anika turned to face him, her piercing gaze both inviting and assessing. "This is a sacred place where bonds are forged," she explained, her fingers gliding over the surface of the stone, glistening with dew. "Here, We embrace our vulnerabilities. James's heart raced. This was it. He gripped the sponge, a crafted piece infused with nourishing essences from the surrounding flora. His hands trembled slightly as he took a step toward her, an overwhelming mixture of anticipation and anxiety surging within him. The moment felt monumental, a bridge between their vastly different worlds. Slowly, he brought the sponge to her skin, and his breath hitched at the ethereal beauty radiating from her. Anika's skin shimmered with an otherworldly glow, each stroke revealing patterns that seemed to tell a story of her people, a history woven into her very being. He pressed gently, following the fluid contours of her back, each movement guided by her soft hum of approval. "This feels extraordinary," he murmured, almost to himself, enchanted by this tactile experience. His fingers became more confident as they traced the intricate designs on her skin, the intimate rhythm offering insight into Anika's world and allowing him to shed the last remnants of his fear. "It connects us," she said, her voice imbued with warmth. "And through connection, we understand each other more deeply." James felt the atmosphere thickening with a palpable tension, entrapped within a web of emotions. In that moment, he was not merely an ambassador seeking peace. He was a participant in a profound exchange, a melding of two souls in a cosmic dance. "Your touch is gentle," Anika noted, a playful glimmer in her eyes. "Most humans are hesitant to engage in acts of intimacy with us." James chuckled nervously, suddenly aware of their proximity. "I suppose I'm not like most humans," he replied, his heart racing as his laughter mingled with the soft sounds of the grove. As the sponge glided over her back, he lost himself in the soothing rhythm, reveling in the unique bond forming between them. But the moment shifted as he noticed a change in her demeanor. Anika leaned back slightly, allowing him to feel the gentle warmth emanating from her body. "I sense your hesitation, Earthman," she remarked, her tone shifting to something more intimate. "You desire connection, yet a part of you holds back." "What do you mean?" he asked, more inquiring than defensive. "Your heart races, yet your mind wanders, caught between desire and restraint. It is confusing, is it not?" James couldn't deny the truth in her words. He felt deeply attracted to her. The connection pulsing between them was electric, thrilling yet terrifying. I didn't expect to be here," he admitted, the honest confession spilling from his lips. Anika smiled, a mixture of understanding and mischief flickering in her eyes. "Shall I assure you that it is acceptable to embrace your desires?" Her words echoed in his mind, igniting flames of courage and yearning. As he gazed into her ethereal eyes, he felt the weight of his choices. This was not merely an innocent act of friendship, teetering on the brink of something profound and transformative. He could no longer ignore the intoxicating pull of their connection. Staring deep into her gaze, he realized that this moment could change everything. It was a moment where the worlds of man and alien intertwined, where boundaries blurred amidst whispered promises and electrifying touches, pushing the edge of the unknown. As his heart raced, he swallowed hard, knowing this might be the time when he could not look back, a fleeting chance to discover love and connection in the most unexpected of places. As James continued to glide the sponge over Anika's skin, he felt an overwhelming desire to know more about her world. Each stroke seemed to unravel layers of her identity, revealing both strength and vulnerability that intrigued him deeper than he anticipated. "You're beautiful," he blurted out, the compliment slipping from his lips before he could stop it. Anika's eyes sparkled with amusement and a hint of flattery, and he felt his cheeks warm under her gaze. "Thank you," Anika replied, her tone playful yet sincere. "But beauty is not just in appearance. It lies in the connection we create with one another." She turned slightly, allowing him easier access, and added, "Tell me, James, what do you find most beautiful about your own culture?" James thought for a moment, recalling his life back on Earth, the chaos, the noise, the endless pursuit of goals. "We cherish connection too," he said slowly, "but it often feels lost among our technology and ambition. We communicate, yet we rarely understand." Anika nodded, seeming to absorb his words. In Zalthar, our rituals and customs revolve around understanding ourselves and others. We believe that the essence of a being can only be grasped through genuine connection, much like what we share now. Making progress with the sponge, James pondered her statement. Is that your way of saying we humans complicate things? Perhaps, she mused, a glimmer of mischief in her eyes. But it is also a gift. Without complexity, how would we grow? As their conversation flowed, James noticed how natural it felt to engage with her. The initial trepidation that had paralyzed him earlier ebbed away, replaced with a sense of familiarity. He hung on her every word and, in turn, began to share more of himself, a personal history that emerged as a mere ripple in the sea of their connection. He spoke of his childhood, his struggles, and the dreams that had driven him to become an ambassador. Anika listened intently, her gaze fixed on him as if drawing strength from their exchange. Your world may seem chaotic, she said thoughtfully, but it is the chaos that makes you human. It allows for passion, for love, for the very experiences that bind us together. I guess so, James replied, pondering her insight. Sometimes it takes someone from another world to see the value of our imperfections. Just then, the sponge slipped from his fingers. Distracted by their deep conversation, he dropped it into the grass below. Anika turned to face him fully, a playful spark lighting her eyes. A moment of vulnerability, she teased, much like the one you find yourself in now. James chuckled nervously as he bent down to retrieve the sponge, but as he straightened, their faces were mere inches apart. He felt a surge of heat pooling in his chest as Anika's gaze grew intent, her breathing quickening as their eyes locked. In that heartbeat, the playful ambience shifted into something charged with longing. James, she said quietly, her voice like a soft caress, do not be afraid of the desires you feel. His heart raced, the air thick with unvoiced emotions. I don't know what to say. Then say nothing, Anika whispered, leaning slightly closer, inching into his personal space. Let your heart speak and your mind listen. The challenge in her eyes stirred a fire inside him, overwhelming his senses. Without thinking, he instinctively reached out to touch her cheek, his fingers brushing against her magnificent skin, gentle yet electric. Anika leaned into his touch, a soft sigh escaping her lips as she closed her eyes. Their breaths mingled as time seemed to suspend around them. The moment crystallized, heightened with emotional weight and the raw intensity of their connection. A pulse beat between their hearts, the barrier separating them shattered by a thirst for connection that neither could deny. Compelled by courage and desire, James drew nearer, his lips brushing against hers with a soft hesitance. Anika responded, meeting him halfway. Their mouths fused together, an exploration that blurred all previous lines. The kiss ignited a whirlwind of sensations, an intoxicating rush that swirled them into a world where only they existed. Anika deepened the kiss, entwining her fingers in his hair as he wrapped his arms around her waist, pulling her against him. The warmth of her body against his felt like the embodiment of everything he had ever wanted. Passion enveloped them, their insecurities melting away in the heat of their connection. But as quickly as their moment had surged, doubt crept in. He pulled back slightly, breathless, his heart pounding as he searched her gaze. "What are we doing?" he managed to ask, his voice thick with emotion. Anika smiled softly, brushing her thumb along his cheek. "We are discovering," she replied, her voice steady yet filled with warmth. "Do not regret this. It is a dance of souls, James." James took a moment to regain his composure, the weight of the kiss still lingering on his lips. The warmth of Anika's presence, her beauty and strength, filled him with an exhilarating sense of possibility. Yet the gravity of their cultural differences loomed in the background, a chain tethering him to both hope and uncertainty. "What happens now?" he asked, searching her eyes for reassurance. Anika met his gaze, the playful spark still dancing there. "Now we take the next step together." Her words resonated in his heart, a promise of connection that transcended the boundaries of their worlds. He felt a newfound resolve, to explore this unexpected bond, to embrace the vulnerabilities they would face, and to yield to the adventure unfolding before them. Together, he echoed, and taking her hand, he knew there was no turning back. As the tension in the air shifted, James felt an unspoken urge to deepen their connection after their monumental kiss. Anika's eyes sparkled with intensity, and he could sense her desire mirrored in his own. The lush grove around them thrummed with life, almost echoing their heartbeat, a reminder that they were on the precipice of something profound. "James," Anika breathed, her fingers brushing against his arm. "Come with me. There's more I want to share with you." Without a word, James took her hand, his heart racing as she led him through the grove toward a secluded alcove, shrouded in luminous vines. The atmosphere grew thicker, the air rich with fragrance and the soft rustle of the flora ringing in his ears. His skin tingled, anticipation coiling within him as he followed Anika deeper into the shadows. Upon reaching a circular clearing, Anika turned to him, her expression shifting to one of seriousness. "In Zalthar, we have rituals that celebrate union, the joining of souls. It's not merely an act of intimacy. It is a pledge of existence together, an acknowledgement of what it means to truly connect." James's pulse quickened as he processed her words. This was more than just a physical entwining. It was an entire cultural experience. "I want to understand," he said, his voice sincere. Anika stepped closer, her warmth radiating towards him. "The first step, then, is to shed all that holds you back, to trust not just your heart, but your body and the connection we forge." "Show me," he urged, emboldened by her words and his own yearning. Her gaze deepened, and the air between them crackled with charged energy. Anika smiled, satisfied. "To nurture our bond, we begin with the essence." She gestured towards an ornate vial resting on a nearby stone. It sparkled with a liquid that shimmered like stars. "This elixir strengthens our connection. It enhances our experience and joins our minds and bodies in perfect harmony." "Are you sure?" he asked, feeling the gravity of the moment weigh upon him. "Trust me," Anika replied softly, her eyes unwavering. James felt the warmth of her gaze seep into his soul, urging him on. He took the vial and drank deeply, the liquid warm and sweet, flooding his senses with an unfamiliar yet comforting sensation. Instantly, a subtle energy coursed through him, igniting every nerve ending, heightening his awareness of Anika standing so close. Anika began to move around him, her presence intoxicating as she conjured a gentle glow in the space, illuminating the clearing with a soft light. "Now we dance," she said. The rhythm of the ambient sounds enveloped them as Anika swayed gracefully, beckoning him to join. James mirrored her movements, responding instinctively to the pulse around them. With each step, he felt the elixir intertwining their essences, heightening the intimacy shared between their bodies. Anika's gaze held him captive as they danced, the world outside fading. Their connection became paramount, each heartbeat sinking into silence, drawing them closer. "Feel what lies within," she whispered, drawing even nearer until their bodies brushed against one another. The warmth of her skin ignited something primal in him. James lifted her chin gently, leaning in to capture her lips once more. The kiss deepened, and their mouths moved together in growing urgency. He could taste the sweetness of the elixir and the unique flavor of her, an intoxicating blend that completely enveloped him. As their kisses grew heated, Anika broke away momentarily. "Let us share our desires, our deepest passions," she urged, her breath warm against his skin. "In our connection lies freedom." Their breaths mingled as James nodded, clinging to her words. "Show me," he said again, his voice husky with longing. Anika smiled mischievously, stepping back just enough for him to take in her radiant form fully. She undid the intricate clasps of her garments, allowing the luminescent fabric to spill to the ground, unveiling her stunning body, every inch adorned with shimmering patterns that glowed softly under the grove's light. James found himself entranced, the beauty before him a vivid tapestry of alien splendor. He felt himself harden with desire, his instincts urging him closer. "You are breathtaking," he managed to say, captivated by her. "Now, it is your turn to reveal yourself," Anika encouraged, her voice sultry, dropping her gaze to his clothing. James hesitated for a moment, vulnerability creeping in, but the empowerment from the elixir coursed through him. He undid his own garments, the fabric falling away, until he stood before her bare. Anika's eyes widened, her appreciation palpable. "You are beautiful in your own right, James." At that moment, a wave of connection rippled through them. The barriers that separated their worlds fell away with their clothes, leaving them bare and exposed to each other. James stepped forward, eager to explore the ground of intimacy they had chosen. "I want you," he declared unabashedly. "Then take me," she beckoned, her tone laced with anticipation. With newfound urgency, he reached for her, their bodies colliding in a passionate embrace. As they explored one another, every touch ignited flames of desire. James traced the contours of Anika's back with unhurried hands, marveling at the softness of her skin. She sighed delightfully under his touch, her body responding eagerly. Anika guided him with gentle nudges and whispers, coaxing him to explore deeper. "Feel what you desire. All you need to do is listen to your instincts," she encouraged. He inhaled her intoxicating scent, a mixture of floral sweetness and the rich essence of her being, and his heart soared with longing. Their bodies moved together seamlessly, the rhythm of their union echoing the song of the world around them. Time became a distant memory as they sunk into shared pleasure. Laughter mingled with gasps and sighs, the very air around them shimmering with energy, a manifestation of their connection. "Together," Anika whispered as their bodies entwined, each movement another step into new territories of intimacy. The dance between them became a celebration of two beings merging into one, where the essence of humanity and alien grace harmonized perfectly. They surrendered to the moment, a sensory explosion where desire absolved all doubts and fears. Together, they discovered the depths of passion, exploring boundaries unknown, losing themselves in the vast expanse of each other's souls. The grove throbbed with the essence of their union, the afterglow of shared mating hanging thick in the air. As James watched Anika, her skin glimmering under the bioluminescent flora, he felt a profound sense of connection, the kind forged through genuine intimacy. Every touch, every kiss, echoed in his mind, igniting a warmth within him that felt exhilarating. As they caught their breath, James gently caressed Anika's back, tracing the intricate patterns on her skin while recalling the intense mating ritual they had just experienced together. "What we shared, it felt unlike anything I've ever known," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. Anika turned to him, her expressive eyes filled with soft intensity. It was a union of not just bodies, but our very essences. She stepped closer, their bodies brushing together, igniting the fire between them anew. "In Zalthar, mating is sacred. We embrace it not just as a physical act, but as a merging of our beings." James nodded, feeling the deeper understanding fill him. "I could feel that connection. It transcended the physical, bringing us closer together." He reached for her hand, pulling her back toward the stone altar where they had begun their dance of intimacy. "Can we explore that connection even further?" With a playful yet serious smile, Anika guided him to the central stone, a place imbued with energies that resonated with their mating. "To fully embrace our bond, we must celebrate our desires together," she explained, her voice thick with longing. As they settled onto the stone, Anika gazed into his eyes, vulnerability radiating from her being. "I want you, James, not just for a fleeting moment, but as a committed partner in this mating journey." Her words sent waves of desire crashing through him, igniting every instinct. "I want you too, Anika. I crave every part of you." He guided her back against the stone, the cool surface contrasting with the heat emanating from their bodies. Their hands began to explore again, fingertips gliding across soft skin, learning the landscape of each other's bodies anew in this deeper mating dance. James kissed her deeply, pouring his heart into the connection. Anika responded with a soft sigh, their mouths moving in harmony, the taste of each other igniting a fire that pulsed between them. "Let me show you the depths of our mating ritual," she whispered breathlessly, her touch sending sparks dancing along his spine. With her guidance, they shifted positions, Anika's body arching toward him as he explored the curves of her form. The intimacy between them transformed into something more, a celebration of their desires ignited with each caress, each kiss. "Together we become one," Anika breathed, guiding him to explore her body with his hands and mouth, igniting every sensitive spot and driving her wild with pleasure. James couldn't help but marvel. He kissed a path along her shoulders, savoring the sweetness of her skin. Every brush of his lips elicited gasps and shivers, further fueling his own hunger. "You're incredible," he murmured, amazed at how she responded to him. The sensation of being connected to someone so entirely different yet so wonderfully similar was intoxicating. "Do not hold back," she urged, her voice a sultry whisper. "Give yourself fully to our mating." With those words echoing in his mind, he lost himself in passion, their bodies colliding with a fervor ignited by their previous encounters. They moved together like a beautiful symphony, matching rhythms and exploring each other's desires anew. In that intimate space, every movement felt sacred, as if they were weaving their essences into the fabric of the cosmos. Time blurred as they danced on the pedestal of the stone, tangled in a web of ecstasy and discovery. "James," Anika cried, her voice breathy and urgent, "feel as our souls intertwine." With one final ripple of shared pleasure, they surrendered to the moment, waves of ecstasy crashing over them like a tidal wave. As they reached their climax, they created a burst of energy that mirrored their ecstatic mating. Stars seemed to shimmer down upon them, reflecting the depth of their connection. As they collapsed together, hearts racing, James pulled Anika close, enjoying her warmth against him. "That was magnificent," he whispered, overwhelmed by the beauty of their mating experience. Anika smiled, her eyes alight with satisfaction. "In the union of our bodies, we have woven a bond that transcends our profound differences. This is just the beginning of our journey together." Suddenly, a mixture of joy and apprehension washed over him. "What does this mean for us? This was an incredible experience, but I'm still an ambassador, and you're the queen of your people. Can we maintain this connection?" Anika's smile softened, her eyes filled with both wisdom and hope. "Though our worlds are different, love knows no boundaries. We'll find ways to nurture this bond. You can always return to me, and I will welcome you into my realm." Deep down, James felt hopeful. "So, we'll continue this journey of matehood. We'll bring our worlds together and inspire peace through understanding." "Indeed," Anika affirmed, resting her forehead against his. "Together, we shall write a new narrative for our peoples, one of mating, affection, and connection." Sitting together, wrapped in one another's embrace, silence enveloped them, filled with unspoken promises and love that stretched across the stars. They had carved out their own path through intimacy, creating a bond that neither distance nor time could sever. Weeks later, James found himself back on Earth, surrounded by the familiar noise of technology and human life. The world felt different, tinted with wisdom and understanding he had never thought possible. Memories of Zalthar lingered wonderfully in his mind, and Anika's presence echoed in his heart. He spoke at conferences about intergalactic relations, presenting the aspects of Zalthorian culture and the emotional depth of mating he had discovered with Anika. Gradually, the seeds of connection he had planted began to grow within his community. Through it all, he kept the radiant promise of Anika alive, the hope of returning to a world filled with possibilities, a future shimmering with shared experiences that would unite their worlds. Several months later, standing on the edge of the luminous grove once more, James breathed deeply, feeling familiar excitement swell within him. Anika emerged from the shadows, her form resplendent under the vibrant colors of the bioluminescent flora. "Welcome back, Earthman," she said, her voice smooth as honey. "I've missed you," he confessed, his heart soaring at the sight of her. Whatever challenges lay ahead, it no longer mattered. With Anika by his side, He knew they had forged a connection that would withstand any test of distance or time. Together, we shall write the new chapters of our mating journey, Anika replied, her smile radiant. As they embraced once more, the future lay before them, an endless expanse of possibility, forged in the beautiful tapestry of their connection that neither distance nor time could sever.